Hi everyone, my name is Amanda Young and I am back with another children's book reading from my series, Manda's Magical Zoo. Again, I am the author of this whimsical and magical book series all about animals and being a zookeeper who can talk to those animals. Now, you might remember that I did a reading of the first book in this series, Jumo the Unicorn, Manda's Magical Zoo. The second book is here. What's exciting about this book is it's actually a prequel. So if you've read this book, you might have wondered how Manda got her magical powers to talk to animals. Well, we're gonna find out. All right, let's get started. Manda beamed with excitement as she walked through the zoo entrance. She had been dreaming of becoming a zookeeper since she was a little girl, and today was finally the day it would come true. Ever since she could remember, Manda was in awe of the animals. She would beg her parents to visit the zoo every weekend so she could watch and study the animals and their behaviors. Her favorite game was to create different voices for each one. She would imagine entire conversations between her and the animals. When Manda walked into the zoo office on her first day of work, she met Kendra. She had been a zookeeper for many years and couldn't wait to teach Manda everything she knew. "Let me show you around the zoo," exclaimed Kendra. "You have to meet each animal in our care, especially Ellie." Manda and Kendra explored all the habitats, meeting each animal and smiling at the experience. Kendra explained to her that the best part of being a zookeeper is how trainers create friendship bonds with many of the animals. Next, Kendra taught Manda to clean the habitats, and they laughed all day at Kendra's silly stories while they cleaned. Manda was in awe, especially when Kendra smiled and said, "You know, I have a feeling the animals will really love you." As the days went on, Manda knew she had made the right choice in becoming a zookeeper. It was her goal to earn a training whistle like the one Kendra wore around her neck. "My training whistle helps me communicate with the animals," Kendra explained one day. "Since we don't speak the same language, I blow the whistle to tell the animals they are doing a good job." She then exchanged a wink with Ellie before continuing their training session. Next, Kendra explained that the trainers also used hand signals to communicate with the animals, and then demonstrated this form of communication with Ellie. Manda watched as Ellie showed she understood what Kendra was asking. As she worked to earn her training whistle, Manda learned how to read the animals' behaviors, which helped Manda build a relationship with many animals, including hippos, rhinos, giraffes, and marabou storks. The bond Manda was most proud of, however, was with the matriarch of the elephant herd, Ellie. Ellie was the smartest animal at the zoo, and while she was thankful for each zookeeper who cared for her, she still picked her favorites. Manda earned Ellie's trust and eventually felt they could read each other's minds. She learned that the best zookeepers could communicate with the animals just by watching and listening to their body language. Months later, as Manda walked past the elephants playing in their habitat, she noticed something wrong. One elephant was alone, playing with a broken object. Normally, Ellie the matriarch would step in, but Ellie was distracted with her favorite toy. "Oh no," thought Manda, "I need to help them." She raced around looking for Kendra, but she couldn't find her anywhere. Manda was nervous that if she took too long to get help, one of the animals could get hurt. Manda had trained for this moment and knew it was her chance to protect the animals from harm. She politely asked the young elephant to show her the object, using the hand signals Kendra had taught her. It was a piece of a toy that had broken off. Ellie and the other elephants came over to watch Manda trade the broken object for a yummy bushel of apples. The young elephant gave her the broken toy and ran over with the rest of the herd. Manda smiled and gave Ellie a loving scratch on her side. "I'm sorry I intervened. I just couldn't let them get hurt," Manda explained to Ellie as if she could understand. "I've learned from Kendra to always speak up, even when it might be scary." Ellie nodded as if she did understand, and for a moment, Manda was almost convinced she could. The next day, while Manda was cleaning the animal habitats, Kendra ran over with a big smile and something shiny in her hands. "You did it, Manda! You used your voice to speak up for the animals' safety, even when no one was around." "Manda, you have earned this special whistle," Kendra cheered, and she placed it around her neck. Manda could hardly breathe, and her eyes welled up with happy tears. "I earned my whistle?" she exclaimed. "You sure did," replied Kendra. "And now comes the best part," boomed a voice Manda did not recognize. She turned around to find Ellie with all the other zoo animals, smiling at her. They gathered around and joined Kendra in letting out a big surprise. Animal noises could be heard across the zoo. Manda was shocked. Did she just imagine the animals talking to her? Could they talk all along? She wondered to herself as she replayed the past months in her head. Manda stood there with wide eyes as the elephant matriarch waltzed forward. "Now that you've earned this special training whistle, it grants you a new responsibility," explained Ellie. Manda searched Kendra's eyes for a sign that she wasn't going crazy. "What Ellie said is true," replied Kendra. "My mentor and many before have passed down this special training whistle that helps zookeepers understand the animals." She went on to explain that Manda had proven to the whole zoo she would speak up for the animals even before she could actually hear them. Manda thought about what Kendra and Ellie had said. While earning the training whistle was special because it helped Manda communicate with the animals, her real superpower was the voice she gained as she learned to speak up for those in need. Everyone celebrated and danced around with glee. The animals could talk to her, just like she pretended as a kid. "I'm the luckiest zookeeper around," she thought to herself. Manda looked at Kendra with a big smile and promised Ellie she'd speak up for the animals forever. As the time went on, Manda taught each new zookeeper how to use their voice by first learning to listen. After all, she reminded them, a good zookeeper can understand their animals even without a special whistle. Each day, Manda looked down at her shining whistle and remembered the promise she made to Kendra and Ellie. "Every animal deserves to be heard," she reminded herself, "so I will continue to use my voice." Although Manda didn't need the whistle to communicate with the animals, it sure did help whenever the animals dealt with problems. And boy, did that happen often at the zoo. Thank you so much for listening to me read Manda's Magical Zoo. Again, this is just one book in the series that's full of whimsical magic and colorful joy. I loved writing this book. Again, I used to be a zookeeper, so a lot of the stories that I'm writing about, I draw from personal experience. I hope you all enjoyed hearing the story about how Manda got her voice, and maybe it makes a little bit more sense when you're reading Jumo the Unicorn, why she is the one to always speak up. Thank you so much again for watching this video. It would do me a huge favor if you liked and commented, even subscribed to my YouTube channel. If you have a tiny human in your life that you think would love this book, I will leave the links to it down below so that way you can purchase your very own copy.